Okay, so if you've got curly hair and you're dealing with thinning or hair loss, you know how frustrating this is. You've probably tried all the serums, the supplements, maybe even prescription stuff, and it feels like nothing is working. Well, today we're going to break down why those efforts might be falling flat and, most importantly, what you can actually do about it. All right, let's just jump right in with the one question that haunts pretty much every single person with curly hair. You're in the shower, you start washing, and you see it, that terrifying clump of hair in your hands or circling the drain. And your first thought is always, oh my gosh, washing my hair is making it fall out. But is that what's really happening? Yeah, this moment, let's call it the wash day panic. It is a completely universal and honestly a really upsetting experience for so many people. And it's the thing that often kicks off this whole vicious cycle of bad habits, all based on a total misunderstanding of how curly hair actually sheds. So to really get what's going on, you need a little context. The average person, and it doesn't matter what your hair type is, sheds about 100 strands of hair every single day. That's completely normal. It's just part of the hair's natural cycle. The key difference isn't how much hair you're losing, it's how that hair leaves your head. And this is the absolute key difference. If you have straight hair, those 100 daily strands just fall out. You might find one on your shirt, but you barely notice it. But with curly hair, no way. Those shed strands don't fall. They get caught up and tangled within all your other curls. So when you finally get around to washing your hair after, say, 3, 5, even 7 days, all of that normal, built-up shedding comes out at once. You're not seeing one day's worth of hair loss. You're seeing an entire week's worth in one go. And that right there, that's where the big mistake happens. You see that giant clump, and you jump to the totally false conclusion that the washing is the problem. So what do? The logical thing, right? You start washing your hair less often, thinking you're doing the right thing, that you're saving your hair. But in reality, this is where the real damage actually starts. So this fear of washing, it kicks off this really long, super frustrating journey for answers. And that brings us to our next point, why those traditional medical treatments you've tried probably didn't give you the amazing results you were hoping for. And the path, it's almost always the same, right? First, you go to your regular doctor. They run some blood work, your hormones come back within normal range, and they tell you everything's fine. So next, you get a referral to a dermatologist. They might prescribe something like minoxidil or mention an expensive supplement and then send you on your way. But both of these steps are missing a gigantic piece of the puzzle. This one. This is the question that almost never gets asked. And it turns out it's the single most important factor of all. The focus is always on what's happening inside your body or on some topical stimulant, but no one ever stops to ask if your day-to-day routine is actively working against you. Okay, so if washing isn't the enemy, what is? Well, the answer isn't some deep internal medical issue. It's something right on the surface. The real culprit, the thing that's been quietly smothering your hair follicles and making all those expensive treatments basically useless, is scalp buildup. So let's be super clear about what buildup actually is. It's this nasty combination of your scalp's natural oils, all the styling products you use, dead skin cells that haven't been washed away, and even just gunk from the environment. Over time, especially when you're not washing enough, this stuff hardens into a thick, waxy film all over your scalp. I mean, just picture this. You are literally asking a brand new baby hair to push its way up through a layer of hard candle wax. Can you imagine how hard that would be? That seedling is going to struggle, if it can even break through at all. That's exactly what your hair follicles are up against when your scalp is coated in buildup. They're being suffocated. So here's the kicker. This barrier, it physically blocks everything you're trying to do to help. Simple hydration from water can't get through to the skin. And, most importantly, you see those expensive topical treatments like minoxidil or those fancy growth serums, they can't penetrate that layer of buildup to get to the follicle where they need to work. You're just spending all this money on products that are sitting on top of the gunk, completely unable to do their job. Okay, so that's the problem. And I know it sounds bad, but here's the really good news. The solution isn't another expensive product. It's about changing your habits. So let's get into the Scalp First protocol, which is all about building a totally new foundation for healthy hair. All right, so here it is, the 5 core steps to take back control of your scalp. First, and this is the big mental hurdle, you have to start washing your hair more often. We're undoing that fear. Second, you're going to master the art of the double cleanse. Third, and this is the really counterintuitive one, you're going to brush before you shower. And then we've got a couple of optional power-ups. adding in a scalp scrub, and using a scalp scrubber tool. Okay, I really want to stop and focus on this one because I know it goes against everything you've probably ever been taught about curly hair. We're told never brush dry curly hair, and that's true after it's washed and styled. But brushing your hair and scalp thoroughly before you hop in the shower is an absolute game changer. It breaks up all that buildup, it physically exfoliates your scalp, and it does it all without wrecking your curl pattern. And this, right here, is the whole point of the double cleanse. That first shampoo isn't for your hair, it's for your scalp. You need to use your fingertips or, even better, a scalp scrubber to physically massage the shampoo onto the skin of your head. You've got to rake up that oil and debris. Most of us just kind of glide shampoo over the top layer of our hair. Nope, you have to get in there and clean the skin your hair grows from. Then, the second wash can take care of cleaning the hair strands themselves. So what can you actually expect if you commit to this? Well, the best part is, unlike some medical treatments that can actually make things worse before they get better, this habit-based approach just shows steady improvement. Let's look at what that timeline actually looks like. So in just the first, say, 6 to 12 weeks, you're going to see way less shedding on wash day. That's the first huge sign that this is working. Then, around the 3 to 6 month mark, this is the really exciting part. You'll start to see all those little baby hairs popping up, especially around your hairline. And after a solid year of consistency, that combination of less shedding and all that new growth adds up to visibly thicker, denser hair. You know, this all sounds good in theory, but let's look at a real person from the source material to see just how powerful this shift can be. This is Kira. She came into the salon totally distressed about her hair thinning, even though she thought she was doing all the right natural things. I mean, just look at the difference here. Her old routine was washing maybe once every 10 days, slathering on heavy oils, using a weak shampoo, all because she was terrified of that wash day shedding. The new routine completely flipped it. She started washing more often, stopped the oils cold turkey, and started doing a proper double cleanse. And the result? The buildup was gone in weeks, and over the next year, she literally doubled the density of her hair at the scalp. And this really gets to the heart of the whole approach. Before you spend another dime on expensive treatments, you have to get your foundation right. Start with your habits. Address the things you can control, for free, in your own shower. Create a healthy, clean scalp environment first. Then, and only then, if you still need extra help, you can layer in those other interventions. And this is maybe the most important thing to remember. The goal here isn't to say that things like Nutrafol or minoxidil are bad. The goal is to make them actually work. By creating a clean, healthy scalp, you are creating the perfect runway for those treatments to actually penetrate and do their job. Your good habits don't just help, they literally amplify your entire investment. So I want to leave you with a question to think about right now. Just take a second and run your fingers over your own scalp. How does it feel? Does it feel genuinely clean, or can you feel, a slight film, a bit of a coating? Is the environment you're creating helping your hair thrive, or is it holding it back? The answer to that simple question could be the key to your entire hair journey.